Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk to you about how to make it so that your secrets and your vulnerability can't be used against you. This is a really powerful life skill because it makes it so that you can better connect with other people because you won't be afraid of being honest and completely authentic since you won't really have to deal with the repercussions to doing just that, which are usually your secrets or your vulnerability being used against you by malicious people or, as a lot of men know, by your girlfriends or your wives, because quite often women have a tendency to use men's secrets and vulnerability as ammo when they get pissed off during arguments, and this is a phenomenon that every man knows, so I'm hoping to help a lot of my fellow brethren with this video, and also any women who feel kind of afraid of being completely vulnerable, because there are a lot of unfortunately bad men out there who will yet again use a woman's vulnerability against her. So I'm hoping this video can help everyone out because being comfortable with yourself and not feeling any shame or guilt for who you are is a really powerful thing. And that's exactly how you get to a place where your secrets and vulnerability can't be used against you. Because the problem a lot of us have is we feel some sort of internalized guilt or shame for things we've done in the past or aspects of ourselves today, and that's what makes us get tripped up when people try to use our secrets or our vulnerability against us. Because that will happen. Even if you become comfortable with yourself, people will still try to dig at you. They'll try to find chinks in your armor. So the goal here is to make it so that even if they manage to rip off your armor, they're going to find that you still have incredibly thick skin, and they're not going to be able to penetrate it at all. They're not going to be able to break you, so that even when they use your secrets or vulnerabilities against you, you're not going to care. So how can you get to this place? Well, the first thing is you're going to want to forgive the younger versions of yourself. So anything that you did in the past when you were younger that made you feel guilty for doing that, just try to forgive yourself and let it go. You want to basically make peace with the past because you can't change it. Anything you've done back then, there's nothing you can do today to try to change it. You can't. It already happened. So just accept it and try to let it go. Make peace with it. A thing that's very helpful here is this mentality where I kind of realized this a while back. Things that you've done in the far off past were pretty much, in a way, you can argue, done by a different version of you. They weren't done by the you of today, right? You've grown a lot, you've changed over the years, so I'm willing to bet you're not the same person you were when you did those things that you feel guilt for. So, knowing that, why would you feel guilty today for having done them in the past? Because you could say, and I'm pretty sure this is true, that the you of today would not do those things, right? You've learned from them, you've changed. So why do you feel guilty for something that you wouldn't actually do anymore? Sure, you did it in the past, but that was a younger, naive, less wise version of you. So why are you beating yourself up over something a different version of you did? Now, I'm not saying this to you to make you not feel any accountability for those things. I'm just saying that you shouldn't feel guilt because you've actually learned your lesson from them. You've grown from those experiences. You wouldn't do them today. So there's no point in holding on to that guilt because the you of today would make different decisions, right? At least I'm hoping this is the case for you. It was the case for me, and it's why I've gotten to the place where I'm at today. So that's a very helpful mentality for dealing with guilt from the past. And now let's tackle shame. Shame is a really fun, and I'm being sarcastic, concept because here's the thing. Shame is completely fabricated. Nobody comes into this world having any concept of shame. I mean, think about this. Do you think there are any animals out there right now who feel any kind of shame for anything they do or any aspect of themselves? Probably not, because shame is taught. Just like with babies. Do you think there are any babies who feel shame? No, that's why babies are comfortable running around naked. They don't care when they have poop in their diaper. They don't care. They don't have a concept of shame. So they don't feel any shame. Shame is something that we're all taught. It's a prison that we build for ourselves, And then we put ourselves in there and we keep ourselves in there for our entire lives. And there are some benefits to shame, some mainly that they allow us to seamlessly work within social worlds, and that we can basically go out and about on our days and we're not going to basically shame is meant to make people kind of work together in societies. That's the whole point of it, to kind of make it so that you don't make decisions that are going to harm your brethren or make a fool of yourself, that sort of thing. So it has its uses, but for the most part I would say shame is a really destructive concept that we've created because of the fact that it puts us in these cages. So the way to break free of this jail cell is to just realize that you shouldn't feel shame for any aspect of yourself. It's a fabricated concept. Therefore, you don't even need to buy into it. Now, you should definitely still be a good person and always strive to become better, but you shouldn't feel any shame for those aspects of yourself that many people have. A huge one here, sexuality. Why the hell do we feel shame for our sexuality? That's something that all of us have, except for maybe people who literally have their brains slightly different than everyone else. But we all have it. That's an aspect of everything on this planet that procreates. Everything that procreates has sexuality. And yet, here we've allowed religion and other things to make us feel shame for that very thing, which is stupid. It's one of the most natural things about us. It's the reason why we're all here. If humanity didn't have sexuality as a part of us, none of us would be here because our parents wouldn't have made us. So there's no point in feeling shame for that. And that's just one example. But there's so many aspects of ourselves that we feel shame for having them, and it's just stupid. I urge all of you to reject your shame by accepting your flaws and being completely comfortable with yourself, fully accepting yourself, 100% of you. Flaws, guilt, all the things you've done in the past, all of that, just let it go and accept yourself for who you are. Be completely comfortable in your own skin, because you really should be. There's no reason not to be, unless you're a complete asshole, which I doubt you are, because if you were, you probably wouldn't be watching this video, because assholes don't feel desire to improve themselves. So you're very likely not an asshole. So why would you feel shame for being you? There's no point in it. It's destructive. It only holds yourself back. So let go of that shame by just being comfortable with yourself, by accepting your flaws, forgiving yourself. And if you want, you could even meditate on it and say something, repeat lines, kind of like a mantra, saying, I fully 100% accept myself as I am, flaws and all. And if you want, you could even add in there, I love myself for who I am. Every aspect of yourself, because you should. Shame is just such a horrible thing. I could rant for hours on how much I hate these concepts that we create for ourselves that end up hurting ourselves for no apparent real benefit. So that is how you get to a place where your secrets and your vulnerability can't be used against you. You have to pretty much let go of all your shame and all your guilt. Let go of all the guilt you have for things you've done in the past, because you aren't that person anymore. You're better than who you were back then. You would not make those same decisions. So don't feel guilty for them anymore. You're better. And with shame, as I've already said, you shouldn't feel ashamed for who you are. And when you fully let go of your shame and your guilt, that's when you become one of those people who you can completely feel comfortable being honest and authentic with other people, sharing your vulnerability and your secrets. And you won't care if people try to use that against you, because now there's no guilt or shame attached to those things. So now when people inevitably try to use your secrets against you, you're not going to care. Instead of wanting to defend yourself, you're now going to think, wow, that person's an asshole. I trusted them with a secret and now they're using it against me. What a great person. And that's what you'll be thinking, instead of, oh my God, my life is ruined. Now everybody knows this thing about myself. You won't be thinking that because you won't care, because you've already let go of all the emotional attachment to these things. And that's how you get to that powerful position where your secrets and your vulnerabilities can't be used against you. And for all the men out there, it's a very powerful thing, because you're probably going to be hard pressed to find a woman who won't, unfortunately, do this thing. It's just a habit that they tend to do, and that's okay. You just have to learn to work within it rather than trying to find a woman who doesn't do this. So just protect yourself, Work on your shame and your guilt, and that's where you get to that place where it can't be used against you. So I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.